This is the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Bristol Flyers Podcast, the show that talks all things Flyers and British basketball. Joel, Sam and producer Dan with you as always. Sam, how's it going?
Very well, thank you, my man. How are you doing?
Yeah, all good. We may be on the international break, Sam, but the podcast keeps on chugging.
You'd think we get a little break as well, Joel, but it doesn't work here, does it?
No, we continue the work. The hard work continues for everyone. Even Coach K, he's out with the GB team right now.
It's good. It's a really good thing that he does that, but it does seem crazy that he doesn't get any time off, right? Straight from the regular season into international
He's
duties.
one of the hardest working men in British basketball. I'll just put it out there right now. I don't think anyone works harder than Coach K. Incredible.
You said it here first, Joel. You're going to get a lot of hate for that from Mark Stoutel, I imagine.
Well, of course, you can watch Andreas and Mark Stoutel this weekend in their European Eurobasket qualifiers. We'll get onto that later on in the show. Producer Dan, how are you, sir? Very well. Try again, Dan. I think you're on mute.
Very well, thank you, gentlemen. Yes, how are you?
Yeah, very well. Did you watch the game against London last week?
Well, I watched bits. It's always tough against London.
Yeah, it is.
It's always tough.
I thought we competed very, very well in that game. It was a very entertaining game.
I'd say it's one of the best games of the season, even though we lost it.
Yeah, It had something for everyone. Players catching fire, everything. But again, we'll talk about that later on in the show. Coming up on this week's show, we're meeting our latest Bristol Flyer. We've got some British basketball beef coming your way. Love the beef. And we're diving into questions from the mailbag. But first, Sam, before we introduce this week's guest, quick reminder, you can reach out to the show on socials at Bristol Flyers. You can also send us an email, hello@bristolflyers.co.uk. Send us your Flyers funny stories, send us your thoughts after a game, anything. The more nonsense around it, the better. The funnier, we like funny photos, everything. And we had some great ones come through on last week's show. And we have to give a shout out to the Flyers Supporters Club again, because they've outdone themselves once again this week.
They never stop, do they, Joel?
No, they don't. Now, if you listened to the show last week, you would have seen that the Flyers Supporters Club made their own very custom air horn and cowbell, which they named the Rorel Graham Bell and the Tevin Ollis horn. But this week...
on that note, before we get to that, did you see some of the comments online about why didn't they call it the Trey Horn Jacob?
Yeah, or the Tige Horn Lucas.
The Tige Horn Lucas. All of
you
those
could have a whole roster of air horns, couldn't you? Maybe they'll bring them out, who knows?
You need to have different pictures so you can play songs with it as well.
Different tones, yeah. All in the little... when you play them one by one, it makes up the song Let's Go Flyers, Let's Go.
That is actually 3 horns, so you can have 3 for that. Right, challenge to the Supporters Club.
Let's make it happen. Last week they had their very own customized instruments. This week they've outdone themselves, Sam, because Saturday's game against the London Lions marked the debut of a brand new Pasquale Landolfi sign.
Exciting.
Did you see this at the game?
Yes, I did, Joel. Go on, explain it.
Now, if you listen to the pod, you'll know that Pasquale loves playing the Italian game Scorper. Which, if you listen to a previous episode, he tells you all about in extensive detail the rules of Scorper. So the Flyers Supporters Club have only gone and made a sign, which is a Scorper card with Pasquale's face on it. Get it up on screen, Dan. What do you think of this?
That is incredible. Now, if you've never played the game Scorper, this picture is worth a 10-point, Joel. It's not as good as the other ones, but it's the highest card. It looks amazing. You've got the crown on. He looks incredible, Joel.
What do you think, Dan? It's got a basketball in there.
He looks great. He looks quite uncomfortable in the corset, doesn't he, there? The rough around his neck, I think, is choking him a little bit.
Yeah, if you're a podcast listener, we'll clip this up for social so you can see it in all its glory. But Scorper, custom-made Scorper card for Pasquale Landolfi, and they were holding it up at the game. There was like one in the player intros. It was like their sign.
Since we were talking about this, and we've got an Italian guy on our local league basketball team. Actually, he bought Steve a pack of this, and Steve has just got me into it, and it's actually a flipping brilliant game. If you've never played it, grab yourself a pack from Amazon, $5 or something, and get involved. It's so good.
Let's get everyone playing Scorper.
How easy is it to play? How quick is the game?
The games last about the scoring might take slightly longer because I'm playing on an app at the moment, so it does it all for you. But this game probably takes about 6 minutes to do one little round, and I imagine then there's like you play loads.
You get points, don't you?
Yeah.
And you have to add the points, and then the points make prizes, basically.
It's a really good game.
Okay, nice.
Well, let us know if you see it at the next Flyers home game. Again, tweet us at Bristol Flyers or all major socials. Send your future photos in and send us an email. Make sure you send us an email because we'll read them out on future episodes. Right, time for us to introduce this week's guest. And it's been another busy week for us with all things Flyers because last week we announced the arrival of a brand new player. And I'm very pleased to say that this brand new player joins us on the podcast this week because Max Cooper's in the house. Max, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
How are you enjoying your time in Bristol so far?
It's been great. It's flown by. This is almost a month in. Feels like I just got here yesterday, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, because I was gonna say we only announced you last week, but you actually had been training with the team for multiple weeks before that, hadn't you?
Yeah, a few weeks. I came in here I think at the beginning of February. Would make sense.
Yeah, and just talk to us about like the reaction to your announcement because it's gone down pretty well on Instagram. It's probably one of our most engaged with posts over at least the last month or so. It's gone down pretty well. I've seen all your friends and people that you know like commenting saying, "Let's go."
Yeah, no, everyone, especially back home, I've had quite an interesting year where I've had to, figure my way out and find out where I'm going to go. And I ended up coming here, which is a great fit for me. And I've had a lot of people reaching out to me and following, what I'm doing because it has been a tough few years for me professionally, just with everything that's gone on my first 2 years. So, I'm happy that people are following me along and, interested in what I'm doing. It's awesome.
Well, we are you're very welcome here as part of the Flyers family.
Thank you.
Had you been to Bristol much before joining the Flyers? Have you I know you're originally from Essex.
Yeah.
Had you been to Bristol much, like growing up at all, or visited much at all?
Yeah, so my mate who I live with now, he lived in Barragurney for a long time. So I've gone out there and I come to Bristol a couple times. And then the first time in 10 years was probably 2 years ago is when I came here. But yeah, so I'm not a frequent visitor, but I am now.
Yeah. Have you? And in terms of exploring around, you must have had a chance now to look around some of the last 3 weeks to explore the city a little bit. Some good hot spots for you around town. Any favourite places?
To be fair, all I can remember, the only thing I've really done, and I did this a long time ago, was I forget what it's called, the big boat, the big ship in
Thekla.
Yeah.
No, SS Great Britain. See where Joel's head's at. He's thinking of nights out rather than.
I haven't done any nights out or anything. I've just been on the boat.
There's a few big boats in Bristol. Obviously, you got SS Great Britain, you got Thekla, you got Grain Barge.
Yeah.
That huge part of our maritime history there, Thekla.
You could have a whole starting lineup of big boats in Bristol, couldn't you?
You've been to that really big famous building right in the centre, SWX.
There are some great hot spots. Other big hot spots in Bristol are available.
You have to fill me in.
One of the big spots I've noticed the players have been going to recently, because obviously they're all based around Chiswick Village area. Yeah. I went to go pick up, was it Les for the podcast the other week?
Yeah.
And they were all just chilling out in the Boston Tea Party up at Chiswick Village. They're always there, aren't they?
Yeah, I heard them talking about it the other day. I've never been up there, but it sounds like it's a good spot.
Oh, you need to go check it out.
Yeah.
You're like annoyingly, you're like the other side of town from all the other players and training.
I'm so far away.
Yeah, you're on this side, aren't you? You haven't had to travel too far to get here, right?
No, it's just a quick bus and a walk, and I'm a foot soldier at the minute.
Speaking of coffee, by the way, Boston Tea Party coffee shops. We've got a visit later today, haven't we, Sam, to our partners at Clifton Coffee.
Oh, are you a coffee drinker?
I am, yeah.
You'll love this tour. We're going to do a nice little tour. We actually did a podcast there last year.
We did. We took the podcast there last year. We're not taking a podcast there this year because we've got some other plans for next week's show, which we'll get onto later on, also involving coffee. It was great, wasn't it? We did a tour of the facility, the roasters. We saw how they make the beans, did some coffee tasting, some latte art as well.
Latte art.
Leslie Smith was is the reigning champion right now at the Bristol Flyers latte art competition.
You're gonna have to take him on today.
We'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Never done it, but we'll give it a go.
Honestly, if you've never, I don't know how easy it is for the public to do, but genuinely, Clifton Coffee Roasters do some really great products and have a really nice sort of like setup down there. So yeah, you'll love it, bro. I'm looking forward to it.
So we are heading there later on, which should be great because we actually love coffee here on the podcast. It's like if you were to pick as a perfect sponsor for us, I literally live off the stuff in the office.
I'm not sure the players drink it as much as we do they?
Oh no, the sponsorship is purely for the staff. Max, I know we spoke about it briefly in your first interview when we made your announcement, but sort of tell us how this whole process came about, because obviously we don't often see a player sort of link up with a team, sort of train with them for a little bit and then get offered an opportunity.
Yeah, so previously I've been in Ireland for the last 2.5 years. I was at Belfast for 2 years. And then this year I did my shoulder last year where I had to go home and get surgery. And unfortunately, I didn't sign back with Belfast, but I signed with a new team down in Cork called Neptune, and sadly that didn't work out. So I was kind of just free roaming for a good 2-3 months, so mid-November. And I've gone around all over the place. I was in Austria for almost a month and a half. I got family out there and just hanging out and trying to see if I could join a team in Europe, but that didn't work out. So I came back here and tried out for some NBL1 teams and drove up and down the country on the GWR, and I was getting off and trying out these teams, and that didn't work out. So I finally reached out to my agent Tom Politti, and he got me sort of kind of like a training gig here at Bristol, and that's all I really wanted. I've been wanting to play in the BBL for a long time, and I said, you know what, you got to take some risks. Might as well go train with this team, see what you can do in a few weeks, maybe get on the roster, and here we are.
Yeah.
We knew that you were training with them, but I'd obviously not really met you or the rest of it. But like the announcement just sort of came quite quickly. Like I actually didn't know it was happening.
So I got the text. So I'll tell you how it happened from my point of view. So I got a text saying you're joining the team for in a training capacity. Yeah. And we just sort of, I've been in touch with Coach K, sort of back and forth, saying he was like, look, we may look to bring him in to the roster, just sort of see how it goes. So I kind of anticipated that, and I basically writ a press release already. So I was like, okay, everything's good to go at my end, just let me know when you want us to go. And then this past week he just said, we're going to sign Max on, going to register him to the British Basketball League squad, and we're ready to go. So we did photos and video, did some photos and interview stuff, didn't we? Yep. Turned it around in about 24 hours and announced it before the game against London last week.
Yeah.
When did you hear that you were going to get signed?
I think it was maybe 2 days before that. Yeah. It was pretty, because I remember sitting in the weight room the day before you came. I was like, yeah, we're going to sign you on, and they're coming tomorrow and taking some pictures of you. I was like, awesome. Any club I've been at so far, I haven't had any of this experience. I haven't had this or, a media day like that. So it was awesome.
Yeah. That was a very quick and small one for our standards, I think. That we got through everything in about, half an hour, 40 minutes?
Yeah, not even.
It was
super quick.
A few photos, a couple of headshots for broadcast, interview, and that was it. Smashed it. So had you done research into the Flyers? Were you following them on social?
Yeah, I've been following Bristol since probably 3 or 4 years now.
Really?
So I've been up to date, and I've seen the level and the standard of Bristol now for a long time, and that always caught my eye. And we talked about it too. I met with Coach, when I came to visit 3 years ago, and that's when I really started seeing what the BBL was all about and what these guys are like, and so I've been seeing what Bristol's been doing the last few years.
Yeah, and from an outsider's point of view, what have you made of the trajectory of the club, the pathway it's going on? Because 10 years ago they were just entering the British Basketball League for the first time. They were playing, before that they were in the lower leagues. They earned the promotion from NBL Div 3, and now they're playing in Europe and with a new home on the horizon. Are you seeing that from an external point of view, the pathway it's going on?
Definitely, especially last year. I remember seeing you guys were in the Final Four. Coming from, 10 years ago, you weren't even in the BBL, to being that high up in that short of a time is incredible. It takes a lot of teams usually that long to get there, and just even with all the stuff we have here, not many teams around Europe or England, I'm sure, have this kind of setup. And I think I would say from my perspective now, being in it, it's definitely going up at a steep trajectory.
I know you've got a number of friends that have sort of, you mentioned some of the friends that you've played with growing up. One of the friends that we spoke about when you when we did a media shoot the other week was Max Richardson. He obviously played with you out in Ireland, and he's part of the Loughborough program as well. Had you spoke to him much about like the whole opportunity in Bristol before you joined Bristol at all?
Yeah, no, I mean, so when I left my team in Cork, I lived with Max for, Max and Aidan Quinn for probably 3 or 4 weeks. So he was all in it. He was asking me, I was filling him in with everything that was going on. So he was very aware, and he's also a COD partner as well. So
I was going to say
he gets all the information.
I was going to say you
didn't know you're into fishing.
yeah.
Well, we'll get onto this, but actually, it's a funny story here. Max has been inducted into what we call the COD squad. Now, the other week, I was added to a WhatsApp group with, I got to get this right now, T-John Lucas, Keely Johnson, Leslie Smith, RGB, and myself. And Max was invited into the group on WhatsApp. It's called the COD Squad.
The COD Squad.
And we're always on there. When I've got some free time, we're arranging times to drop into Urzikstan and drop into the war zone and drop into Fortune's Keep, aren't we?
Fortune's Keep.
We have the clan tag, the clan tag, scat team. This is Scat Team Gaming we're on now. I'm on the squad, guys. I'm on the squad.
I want to think you guys are cool, but I can't. I just can't, I'm afraid.
Oh, come on. You're not cool if you're not in the COD squad.
I'm outside, mate. Having a nice
I'm outside.
Yeah, this is actually the first mention I've done of the COD squad on the...
I
Because
know.
normally it's behind closed doors, but since you brought it up, we talk about the COD
no one
squad.
brought it up. You wanted everyone to know how this little thing you're a part of.
I am on the COD squad. Got a good win the other night as well, actually.
What a band of brothers you are.
We are.
Leslie's the real deal on the COD squad.
He is.
He's serious.
Yeah, Les can...
He's not to be messed
Les
with.
can carry a team by himself.
Can he play still?
Yeah, he can play with his hand, yeah.
Okay,
he's
good.
playing
He's still
more.
better than everyone
He's
with a broken hand.
Yeah, he's still better than everyone, but yeah, he's playing a lot more now because of his injury.
It's actually going to strengthen up his hand, right? That's the argument. Strengthen him up, all
Exactly.
the movement. Yeah, okay, got it. Cool.
Well, can I just say,
Rehab.
Joel, thank you for your service and everything you do for us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm doing it for the squad. Yeah. Well, I guess that sort of brings us on nicely to like other things you sort of do in your spare time,
Yeah.
because we spoke about it when you first joined, but you used to also, you talk about being a gamer, you're a big fan of video games. You used to also stream on Twitch, didn't you?
Yeah, I did back in the day. It all started with so I'd mentioned this to you as well as my mate back home, who I went through school with. He was in FaZe Clan for a long time.
Really?
And he started off in FaZe when he was 13 years old. I think it was when he got his controller unboxing. But yeah, so we've been on Twitch. He would get all the viewers and the followers, this, that, and the other, and I'd stream with him, and then by the time he's off, I'd always stay on because I knew he'd host me with all the followers and the views. So that's kind of how I got into streaming, and I did that for a good 2-3 years through my college days for sure.
Yeah. Is it always COD or anything else?
No, it was massive, heavy Fortnite, too much Fortnite.
Was it?
Yeah. That was. I bought a PC and everything just for cranking builds and streaming.
Wow.
I need to get outside.
I've clocked out, by the way. You guys crack on out this, and I'll join back in after. Okay.
There's something else that you. Here's something that you would get involved with, Sam.
I'm ready.
Because Max, I heard through the grapevine, is also a keen golfer. Is that right?
Yeah. So I don't know. How'd you hear that?
Well, the word travels fast around the Bristol
play a
Flyers
lot of
family.
golf.
This
Better
is
golf.
my jam now.
Yeah.
You play a lot still?
Yeah. Well, not since I've been here, but the last few years in Ireland, I've been playing a ton of golf.
Do you have your clubs in Bristol?
They're in London right now, but
You bring them in now
Yeah.
when the next opportunity you get, because I am going to take you for a nice round of golf around here, okay?
Let's do it.
Sam and I play a lot of golf. I've only started playing last summer as a bit of a, when the sun comes out, I also come out and play golf. But
Yeah.
when the sun's away, I do not come out and play golf.
playing COD.
Sam's out there
I'm the
playing it
opposite.
in rainstorms. He's all weather.
Rain
the
or
best
shine.
sport.
I love it, mate.
It's the best sport. I should say that basketball is, but golf truly is my love. I love golf so much.
Do you playing off a handicap right now? What's your handicap?
I haven't kept it in, since before my surgery, but I was a 4.2 at one point.
Oh,
so maybe we won't play golf together.
No, it's not like that anymore. I've taken a break.
Where do you reckon you'd be at right now if you were to sort of do 10 rounds or so and average it out?
Probably 8 to 10.
Nice.
I did play at the Bristol a few weeks ago with someone else's clubs, which went quite well.
Well, it's not an easy course there, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. It's a fun course, that.
It's a really that's where we would play if we went. Yeah,
it's good, and they got good deals on there it's great.
We'll definitely go and play. I've only been playing about 2 years, but I'm rocking down at about a 13.4 right now.
That's
so
good.
you know when you put a point in there, you're a loser. Nearly as much of a loser as these guys talking about COD.
Yeah.
Now you got to be accurate.
We've got a few golfers in the team. Coach Burns plays golf.
Okay.
Nick Burns.
Yeah.
Christian Hill.
Christian Hill plays golf. You met Christian Hill?
But hey, I need people to play golf with, so set me up, take me out, I'll come with.
We could probably build a little Bristol Flyers team. We should enter a Flyers team into the Bristol Sport competitions this year.
We've got a Lansdowne Club Golf Day coming up. I know the date, but I'm not going to say it yet because it might change. But we'll see if we can get you involved in that.
Yeah, that'd be
cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
this is a very off-air conversation we're having right now as well,
guys,
isn't it?
We're just talking, and if you're listening and you're hating it, that is not our problem, all right?
Well, let's steer things back on track, shall we? Let's run it back. Max, one of the things we like to do on the podcast is a thing called Run It Back, where we learn more about our athletes' backgrounds, where they grew up playing, all that kind of fun stuff. Obviously, you mentioned you grew up in Essex, and you actually moved to the States when you were young, weren't you? Was it like around 14, 13 years old?
No, younger than that. I was 2009 August, I believe. I'm so bad with the dates. But yeah, no, I was around 10 years old, 10, 11 years old when I moved.
Wow. And which state did you move to?
Minnesota.
Was it?
Yeah.
My team.
Sam
boys.
loves a Timberwolves. Or Thicky Rubio over here.
You missed that, but that was a nickname
He likes that,
my friend gave me.
Outrageous.
How old were you when you first started playing basketball then?
12.
And you sort of picked it up once you moved out there?
Yeah. I mean, I had a basketball hoop in Essex, because my mum's American.
I was going to ask why you moved there, but that's the reason, right?
Yeah, my mum's American, so I mean, I play on a gravel driveway and just shoot these two-handed, no skill whatsoever. So I'd always, shot about, but not seriously. I didn't play until, 12 years old.
Well, I guess you were in the States, so that's what people do, right?
It was that. So when I moved, it was either that or I got into wrestling, and my mum tried convincing me it was like WWE style wrestling.
Oh, really?
But it was Greco-Roman wrestling, so like leotards and straight.
Unitard, actually.
Unitard. Whatever it is.
You didn't fancy the bit of that?
No,
bit of WWE?
no.
They don't leave much for the imagination, those suits, do they?
And then you... So where did you play at high school?
What sports did I play, or where did I play?
Did you play did you get so you like route into college? Or did you go?
Yeah, so
a
I mean,
high school team.
I played at Minnetonka High School. We did AAU and stuff in the summer times, which is off-season hoops. But I did basketball and American football in high school. Those were my two sports. Because I mean, when I was in England, I was a big cricket and rugby player. So I could only translate rugby into American football, nothing into basketball. So I just started and picked it up and started something new.
Yeah.
Off air, you actually mentioned you went to school with someone who the Bristol people might know fairly well. Who did you hear about this? You weren't here, were you?
No.
Who did you go to school with and play rugby with?
So when I went to Felstead when I was living in England, and Max Malins was at my school.
Really?
We played on the same cricket team and rugby team for like under 11s and under 10s or something like that. He was always the best on the team too. He was, he's a stud.
Would you still know him now?
No, I haven't talked to him in probably 15, 16 years. It's been a long time.
Wow, that's
We'll
incredible.
try and hook up a little
Make the
reunion.
Yeah, we'll make the reunion happen
Yeah.
at some point. I know the guys want to go visit the HPC at some point.
Also, some of those boys played golf, so we could hit you up with some of them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're regulars down the Bristol, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they got like a team membership there. So yeah, you should definitely get involved with them.
Yeah. And then you went to play in the NAIA at college with the Mayville State Comets.
Yeah.
How do you look back on that kind of experience as a whole?
That was an unbelievable experience. Coming from, we were talking about how big Minneapolis was, Minnesota 5 million. I went to this school because my grades in high school weren't great, so my options were limited. So I went to go look at this school in North Dakota, which had at the time I think it was like 1,400 people in the whole town.
What? Literally 1,400 people.
Yeah, and the school makes up a majority of that population. It's probably a bit more. So people in Mayville will probably hear this and be like, "Oh no, there are 2,200 people here." But no, it's tiny. It's a tiny town.
What's it called?
Mayville State, or just Mayville, North Dakota.
Give it a Google, Dan.
I'm doing it here.
Oh, that's Dan.
I'm going to race you.
You're going to race you.
I reckon you're wrong. It is. It's 1,700 now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's been a few babies involved, but
It's going up.
Yeah.
It's going up.
no. So that experience, it was so different for me, but it was what I needed academically, because smaller class sizes, you could really focus on what you were doing. And I ended up doing really well school-wise, but also basketball-wise. So I played American football there as well for 2 years.
What position?
I was a tight end and a kicker.
Oh, not both.
Yeah.
As in, because you have less people, you just do a few
Well,
roles.
they assume that if you're English, you can kick a ball. So,
Which is right.
but they weren't wrong. I wasn't great, but I could kick a ball compared to some of the others. But yeah, no, that experience was so different, but it was so good for me, and we had a lot of success there basketball-wise. It was unbelievable.
Nice. And then you obviously ended up, you graduate from college, and then you was Ireland your first pro gig?
Yeah. So that school I went to in North Dakota, I met my 2 Irish teammates there. There's a set of twins, Conor and Aidan Quinn, and I played with them my freshman year.
And they are Irish.
They are Irish. They're Northern Irish. They're we won't get into that.
Yeah.
But
They are from that island next
So
to us.
they were over there, and they left after my first year because we got a new coach, switched coaching. But we had stayed in contact. Like, they're really good friends of mine. They took care of me my freshman year when I was just a young dude coming out of high school. And when the school was all said and done, they were like, "You should come play for us." So
Do it in their accent.
Could you do a good Irish accent?
I'm not on the spot. I'm a bit nervous to do it. But
So they're Northern Irish, so it's a bit more
Northern
sort of
Irish,
like
yeah.
a bit more chill
there
than
you go.
you should come play for us.
yeah, exactly, something like that. No, yeah, and then honestly, my whole basketball career has been formed off of connections through friendships and being able to stay with certain people and getting on the team. So it's been a wild ride for me, but my friends have helped me out so much in being able to get to where I'm at today.
I love that, because we speak about it all the time, how small the basketball community really is. And everyone knows someone that they would have played with at a certain level.
Yeah, for sure.
And that does word of mouth travels fast around like experiences. So like it's a great way of learning, is this the right opportunity for me? Is this a good opportunity for me? But someone knows you for example, you'll probably look around the British Basketball League now, and the people that you recognise from, playing either college or whatever level.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how tight-knit that actual community
Basketball,
really is.
I think basketball is the closest community of all the sports. Like, I could go to North Dakota with the town of 1,700 people and ask someone who's still there from California, do you know this guy who may be like 5 years older? And they'll know exactly who he is, played against it. Like, it's ridiculous. And that's all over the world. Like, in Ireland, I could do the same thing. It's weird.
Yeah.
Can we were watching your highlights, but when we knew you were training and stuff from the Irish Super League, can you just sort of let us know what the standards like compared to maybe some of the British leagues?
So my first year, the standard wasn't, as high as it is now in Ireland. You still have, now you can have 2 Americans on a team. And then the rest of the guys are, they're working 9-to-5 jobs, coming to practice afterwards, getting their shift in, doing their work, and then playing games on the weekend. So, you don't have 6 or 7, 8 professionals on the team. It's nothing like that. But the standard is still quite good. The Irish players are they're good players. But it's not the same level as the BVL, but it's getting to a point where I think you could see more players coming from Ireland coming to play in the BVL just because they're that good.
But the setup's probably more similar to the NBL 1 in terms of a lot of non-professional players and all the rest of it, but still really.
And that's a good comparison. I was trying to figure that out too when I was doing all those tryouts, and I thought the Irish League was maybe even just a bit better than NBL 1. But that was through practicing and stuff. But the standard's there, the potential's there in Ireland for sure.
What's the fan base like out there? Is there like a big? I imagine there's a lot of NBA fans from Ireland. But are you getting a lot of fans sort of attend those games as well? Do you feel, or not really?
Yeah, I mean, depends on where you're at. Belfast, we got a good group of fans. Down south in Cork, it's really big. There's 4 teams. There's 4 teams. I mean, there's many more teams with different levels, but there's the Cork, Neptune. There's Neptune. There's Demons, Ballincollig. I could be then Tralee down the road. So there's 4 big teams which get a lot of fans, all in that small, hour range.
A lot of Boston Celtics fans over there, I imagine.
Yeah. Boston, New York, all those guys. Boston.
Do you reckon? How long do you think it could be potentially until we maybe see an Irish team in the British Basketball League? 'Cause I know that's something that they've been wanting to expand into. They've been wanting to reach out into sort of.
I think
the
you'll
Irish
see
community.
Belfast for sure. I think in the next 5 years you'll see a team in Belfast, just because why not? It's in the UK. the only thing that you have to do is fly across a little pond to get back and forth. But
Scotland, like Caledonia, do that a lot anyway, don't they?
Yeah,
So
they-
it'd be a similar set. It would need a bit of finance behind it, but a similar setup in a way.
it's Belfast Star, who I was with. They're building a good fan base, and they will be the main team. Just because they've got a loyal fan group, and the fans all love basketball out there. And that's the thing. There's a tight-knit community who really love it. To see a BBL team in there and try and bring in the revenue that you'd need to be sustainable, you need to build it a bit more and get more of an atmosphere there.
You mentioned it's very similar to NBL 1, and if you look at NBL 1, I mean, we're a team that came from NBL 1. Like that, Bristol Sport came on board, provided Flyers with the funding that was necessary to enter the British Basketball League. I feel like the fan base is there, the talent levels are there. The only thing maybe a team like Belfast is lacking is like a funder or a financer, or someone that can pump cash into it maybe to make that next step. And I think that's something that Aaron Radin, the British Basketball League, is looking into. They're trying to find suitable investors to be able to pump some cash into the team, because that's all I feel like it's away. It's only a cash injection away from maybe making that jump into the British Basketball League.
I mean, it's the opportunities are there. They have the facilities for it, especially like they could do it. They definitely could do it. It's all logistics and how you get it going. So you're right.
Well, watch this space, eh? I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. But who knows? We'd love to see an Irish team in the British
That'd be
Basketball
cool.
League.
You sometimes have got to get careful what we say. We don't know things.
I know that. I don't
we
know
never
anything
say
either.
things.
Yeah.
We just speculate.
We are purely speculating,
Yeah.
but I think it's a good talking point, because I know that's been a talking point for a long time.
Yeah.
And I know we spoke about wanting to get Aaron on the podcast at some point, Aaron Radin, the CEO of the British Basketball League. So maybe we could mention it to him as well, like about expansion, about what markets they're looking at, because that is, you look at the British Basketball League, you've got a team from Scotland, there's no team from Wales, there's a really untapped market over there in Ireland as well. So I would love to see that. That would be incredible.
Yeah.
Really great.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be a good spot for sure.
Right, let's get to our quickfire questions. Max, we have a part of the show where every guest we have on the podcast, we put them through a series of quickfire questions where you have 30 seconds to answer as many questions as you can in the time limit. They're all very straightforward questions. Producer Dan, are you ready to go with the lights? Can we get the lights down low, please? Ooh. Right, Max.
That's my favourite part of the show, John.
I think so
Always.
as well. I think it's good, isn't it? Don't get nervous. I don't get nervous. I get a bit shaky, you know what I mean? I get weak. Right, Max, you've got 30 seconds to answer as many questions as you can in the time limit. Your time starts now. Who's your favourite NBA player of all time?
Anthony Edwards,
Name a country that you've always wanted to visit.
Croatia.
Do you have any pre-game superstitions?
No,
What is your worst habit?
biting my nails.
What's your favourite social media app?
Instagram,
What's your favourite thing to drink?
water,
What's your last search on Google?
Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Do you sleep with your socks on?
No way.
What's your favourite video game? Oh,
COD.
Easy one, that one, wasn't it? Easy one.
Do you sleep with your socks on? No way.
I think it's a crime, isn't it, to sleep with your socks
Do you know
on?
what? I've tried it when it's been cold, and it just, for some reason, I can't sleep with it. It just feels horrible.
Well, it's bad for you. You get blisters apparently when
Do
you
ya?
sleep with socks on.
Do you?
That's what I've heard. That could just be someone telling me to not be an idiot. And
So you're just like,
that's-
no way, no blisters from me.
Producer Dan, how many questions did Matt get right, please?
So are we counting the one at the very, very end?
Yeah.
You started to finish.
Yeah, I did
In that
start.
case, it's a 9.
It's a 9! Congratulations,
Come
Max. The score to beat was 11, so
Yeah.
you just missed out on the high
that's
score.
all
But 9 is a very, very good score.
You spent too long thinking about them stupid superstitions, man.
yeah, well, because there probably is one that I can't think off the top of my head.
So you say there is one I can't say.
Well, I used to, in college, I used to have, I would go meditate for 20 minutes, and then I'd go do this, that, and the other. I was like, I got to stop all of this. It's got to be done.
You become like Nadal, don't
Yeah.
you, from tennis,
Yeah.
doing all this with your
Especially-
hair
yeah.
and all the rest of
No.
it.
I'll tell you what, Croatia is an incredible place. You have to go visit.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable as well. So just going to throw that out there. It's
Yeah.
very, very nice. Right, Sam, it's time for us to get to the news.
This is the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Hey Flyers fans, this is the part of the show where we give a huge thank you to our podcast sponsor, WebGains. We've got Rob over there in the house, and without their support, this podcast would not be possible.
Now, WebGains is the smart affiliate marketing network who have an unbelievable track record when it comes to empowering advertisers and publishing partners to reach their potential and achieve game-changing results.
They connect businesses with top affiliates who can promote your products and services, reaching a wider audience and driving more revenue.
And here's the best bit, Flyers fans. WebGains provides you with detailed reports and analytics to track the performance of your affiliate marketing campaigns, making it easy to see the results of your hard work and investments.
But don't just take our word for it. Here's Rob from WebGains to tell you more.
Did you know that last year affiliates helped sell 12 billion worth of products for British brands? And every £1 spent on affiliate marketing by advertisers, also known in our channel as retailers, returned an average of £12.40.
That is actually crazy when you spend £1.
You get £12 back.
£12.40 back. It's so good.
It's amazing.
It's a good deal, isn't it?
And not only are WebGains sponsors of the Bristol Flyers podcast, but their company logo is also once again on the front of our home and away playing shorts, inspiring the team to make smarter connections, just like they do for thousands of brands on their international affiliate network.
So if you're ready to skyrocket your online presence and drive more sales, visit webgains.com and see how they can assist you in the world of affiliate marketing.
That's webgains.com, webgains.com. Give your business the assist it needs with WebGains Affiliate Network.
This is the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Right, here's a look at what's been going on around the British Basketball League and beyond this week. We've got to start by talking about the game against London Lions on Saturday night.
I thought it was going to be the Matt Morgan show. 6 minutes in, he'd had 17 points, and then our very own Tevin Ollison turned it on, didn't he, Jolie?
Yeah, Max, what did you? I know you didn't get a chance to feature on the court. It probably wasn't the best game to throw you into for your debut, considering you trained for the team for 3 weeks. But what did you make of the game as a whole? Your first impressions?
You know, I mean, off the rip, as you said, the first play of the game was Grantham was an and one poster dunk. So that's almost like, even though I wasn't on the court, it was like, welcome to the league. This is what's going to happen.
I forgot about that on Brad Greene as well, wasn't it?
I'm not sure who it was on. I don't know who.
I thought it was a very soft foul, by the way.
It was a very soft foul.
Yeah, it was a soft foul. But, I thought the physicality level and just the pace of play was really cool to watch and good to see up close for once. Because that was my first BBL game I've watched in person. So that that was really cool. Courtside seats.
Yeah.
Ultimate courtside seats.
First impressions of the Flyers fans are, I guess, noisy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, the Flyers fans are awesome. I saw that Pasquale posted right when I walked in, and it was hilarious. I wasn't sure what was going on until I realised he had talked about that on a previous podcast. But they seem like they've got it together, the Bristol Flyers fans.
Yeah, it's definitely it's the smallest venue in the league at SGS, but it is by far one of, if not the loudest venue in the league. Yeah. It is incredible.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's talk about the game. 93-101. It was a crazy game because, as you say, players catching fire all over the place. I think we did everything we could to put ourselves in a position to win this game. London raced out to a 9-point lead. You talk about Matt Morgan, 17 points in the first quarter.
He was 6 from 6, was he? Or 5 from 5?
He was. And then Tevin had 10 points in a 12-2 run for Flyers to take the... and we took the lead on that breakaway dunk, which was, when that dunk went in, the loudest I heard SGS all night. Incredible.
That was disgusting, wasn't it?
That was crazy.
You saw who was going to defend him? Was it Jordan?
Jordan Taylor.
You saw him run up and go, nope, I'll let this one fly.
I'll let that one fly. And it was all tied up at the half, 51 points apiece. London, they were shooting 70-odd% from the three-point line as well, by the way. That sort of calmed down to a cool 60% from the three-point line in the third quarter.
That's mental. Like that, you're never beating teams who... We had it 2 weeks before. It's impossible to beat.
It comes back to what I was saying last week there on the podcast, where part of that is their good shooting. Part of that also is, we took 7 minutes to defend Matt Morgan from the three-point line in the first quarter.
And there's a couple of things that happen, like late on, a full court pass to Keedy where he slips and misses, could have had a layup there.
Let's wind it back a little bit, because Trajan Jacob put Conor Morgan on a huge poster before that.
Do we have a video of that or not?
We put it out on socials. It was incredible, wasn't it?
It was disgusting. I was watching it, and you can see Conor Morgan afterwards be like, I don't know how to feel about this, but it was dirty. Wasn't it?
I was listening to Dan Routley's commentary on the play, and when the replay came up, it was like, if you're Conor Morgan, at what point in your jump did you just think, oh no? I was like,
it was weird. Like, it almost came out as in it was a nice play. Brad passed it to him, but like he just went up and carried on going up, and then just jammed it, didn't he?
Yeah. So that was
that's TJ though, isn't it? Like,
yeah, he does
crazy.
That's what he does. He makes ridiculous threes and puts players on posters. How many times have we seen that this season?
Has he dunked on you in training yet?
No, there was one time I thought he for sure was, but I undercut him a bit, which isn't good. But he's scary to be under.
Yeah.
It's not fun being in the vicinity of him while he's jumping.
Did you see his poster against Sheffield Sharks earlier in the season?
Is that the one where he's hanging with his left hand? Yeah, I mean...
The photos from that are incredible.
Super cool.
Shout out to Coops. Coops takes good pictures, doesn't he?
I'll tell you what, he had a really good picture of Tevin Ollison's dunk last week in that London game as well.
Yeah.
A breakaway dunk. Really good picture. And then we get on to the sort of like the comeback from Flyers, and there were multiple opportunities for us to really come back into this game. Keedy slipped in the transition, which we spoke about there. Trajan Jacob missed a pair of free throws down the stretch.
Yeah.
Levi made it a 3-point game in the last 3 minutes with a huge three, but we just weren't able to capitalise on that ending, and then we ended up playing the foul game.
We missed. It was one of those as well where they bobbled in a couple. We missed a couple that could have gone in as well, and it's just a game of basketball, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, it does mean we dropped to 11 and 15 in the league, which puts us joint 7th with the Surrey Scorchers. But that does set up a huge game with Surrey when we come back from the international break, because they come to SGS on Saturday, March 2nd for an 8 p.m. tip-off, and that one will be crucial because I know Surrey already have the head-to-head over us, but important for us to create that separation if we want to sort of fight in the, still compete for a top 4 place.
If we if they come and shoot like they did last time, though, we need to battle that because they got another like 60% themselves, didn't they? So we need to fight that.
I like to think with 2 weeks preparation, though. I know Andreas isn't around, in practice this week for preparation and stuff, but you've got Coach Burns leading the session and Chris Bourne as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
What's that like with those guys leading the session? I'm because they're very good at leading.
They're just
the
as knowledgeable, in everything that the team is doing, the sets that we run, and what we need to do. So, yesterday was a good practice. They're very informative in what we need to do, and the guys are all good at staying on pace and doing the right thing and practicing hard even when coach isn't here.
Yeah. So tickets, by the way, for that game against Surrey, I think we're down to like 50 or 40 left in that game. So if you want to get tickets for that game, go get them right now over at bristolflyers.co.uk because they're going to sell out. So yeah, make sure you go get those. Speaking of international window, by the way, of course, you mentioned Coach K not being around. That is because he is on assistant coach duty or with the GB national team this week.
That guy.
The busiest man in British basketball. He is, honestly. 2 huge Eurobasket qualifying games over the weekend. This is the first of 3 windows for the Eurobasket qualifying campaign. GB, of course, in Group F, alongside Greece, Czechia, and the Netherlands. So on Friday is a big one because they host the Netherlands at the Virtue Motors Arena in Newcastle for a 7:30 p.m. tip-off. Then on Monday...
Is that on TV, by the way?
You can watch it on Courtside 1891. You're reading ahead of my notes here, Sam.
I didn't even read them. I didn't read your notes, Joe.
Then on Monday, they travel to Czech Republic for, again, a 7:15 p.m. tip-off. You can watch both games, Sam, on Courtside 1891 Basketball. It is the streaming service for every Eurobasket qualifier. You can sign up for an annual pass for just $24.99 for the year, or you can watch a pass which covers all the continental qualifiers, which includes the Eurobasket alongside AmeriCup, Asia Cup, AfroBasket, live and on demand for just £11.99.
This is this is a typical sort of ignorant Brit, but I actually didn't realise you could call it Czechia. And then I just Googled it quickly and be like, what's Joel on about? And I was like, okay, yeah, Czech Republic, got it.
Yeah, that's a Czech
Nice,
Republic.
yeah. Ignorant Brit, here we are.
The squad was announced this week, and there are a number of new faces in the GB squad for this window. Get it up on screen, producer Dan. This was announced this week. The 14-man training squad for camp contains a number of new faces to the programme, so it should be really exciting to see. The final 14-man squad also includes 5 players that are currently playing in the British Basketball League, including RJ Eitelrock of the Sheffield Sharks, Kyle Johnson and Pat Whelan of the Caledonia Gladiators, Luke Nelson of the London Lions, and Josh Ward-Hibbert of the Newcastle Eagles. Right, Sam, other news to get to. And the British Basketball League has announced the results of the fan votes for the All-Star voting starting lineups.
Yes.
And I'm very pleased to say our very own Brad Greene has won the vote at the centre position for Team South. Go, Brad. Max, how do you think Brad will get on at the All-Star game?
He'll do great. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's not the typical all-star that, you say all-star game, you think like rim runner or like lob catcher and stuff. I want to see Brad Greene shoot 3-pointers.
I'll tell you what, Brad can make them.
He can.
He can make them.
I'll tell you what, I went into practice this week and I saw Brad Greene nail a half-court hook shot.
Did he?
Yeah.
Not for a watch though.
No, not for
this
a watch,
time.
but it was like a post move. It was literally like a post move from the halfway line.
He's
My
amazing.
first 3 practices at Bristol, I saw he did it once every single day I was there. My first 3, he made them every single time.
What, half-court shot?
On his first try.
Really?
And he's throwing it like
American football?
Yeah, he's throwing it like that.
That guy's a joke.
Yeah.
The other day when I spoke to him, he's so strong, isn't he? I went and spoke to him after a game, and I gave him a little punch after the London game, being like, and he was obviously a little bit frustrated, or whatever. And as a joke back, he like slapped my arm quite hard, and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that from Brad Greene. Yeah. So the coaches. So congratulations to Brad for being named a starter for Team South. The AllStar Reserves will be announced by both coaches next week. So do look out for that. Max, is there anyone else on the team that you think is deserving of being named an All-Star? Do you feel?
From what I've seen so far, they all could be on that list. But Tevin, from what I saw in my first game, I mean, I wasn't familiar with his game, I should say, at the start. He's a baller, man.
31 points against London Lions, like at a big strength team. Like that was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
he should be an all-star.
Couldn't miss. He would definitely get my vote if I had a vote. I don't get a vote. It's all down the coaches select, don't they? So the coaches make their picks next week. So look out for that. I've got some exciting news as well, actually, for the podcast listeners, because I've had confirmation, Sam, that the Bristol Flyers podcast will be going to the All-Star game on March 17th.
Yes, mate. I'm
Incredible.
so excited.
So we're going to take the podcast on the road to the All-Star game. We're going to do the whole show. I think the whole show, maybe a bit in here. I don't know. We'll see. But with most of the show, if not the whole show, will be at the Copper Box Arena in London. Producer Dan.
All 3 of us?
I was about to say.
I can't wait, guys. This is going to be great.
We should do something here because he's not able to come, is he?
Yeah. Maybe we'll do the intro here with you, Dan. Because, Dan, you don't leave the studio. You live here.
That is true.
You remember you haven't grown your immune system because you only stay in this one room.
Yeah,
so if you go
that's
out into the
true.
big bad world, mate, you might get ill.
I do have a tag that if I leave the studio more than 10 meters, I can only go as far as the toilet, it will go off. Oh, I forgot about that.
So yeah, the All-Star, we might do something in here pre and post, at the top and tail of it, but if we don't, the show will be done from the Copper Box Arena in London. We're going to see who we can speak to. We'll do our news section. We'll try and see if we can get down courtside, chat to some All-Stars, maybe chat to some fans. If you're a Flyers fan, by the way, and you've got tickets to the All-Star game, and you want to feature on this episode of the podcast, let us know where you're sat and we'll come find you, because we want to chat to some Flyers fans as well. We'll make it a good episode. Make it extra long with lots of good stuff to chat about in there. It'd be great. So watch this space. All-Star podcast coming soon.
When it comes to the All-Star game, by the way, Joel, is it going to be anything like the NBA All-Star game? Because I saw the score for that.
Oh, yeah. Did you see
and
that?
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What was it? Like 200?
211 plays like 189, something like that.
That is... What do you think?
Nah, it's stupid. I also understand, like, these guys can't get hurt, so they're just letting them score.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, when they're left open, though, you see their percentages. That's like they're not really playing D, but they hit the 3 so much more when they're not being D'd up, don't they?
Yeah.
How do we see this one playing out then? Like, is it going to play like the NBA one? Are the players going to let each other score, or are they going to be quite competitive? do you
I
think?
think it'll be more competitive.
Yeah.
We were talking in the office the other day about this. We were like talking about how ridiculous the East and West sort of like All-Star game is. We were saying it would be cool if they gave it some sort of meaning. Like, how cool would it be if the East or the West team, when they won, got a home court advantage in the finals.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be sick?
That'd be cool. It caused a lot of drama, but it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but can you imagine like some players that definitely aren't making the playoffs be like, I'm not playing for this player to win a championship.
Yeah, but it would trickle down, wouldn't it? Like if the leaders there like going hard, like even if a few weren't, like I think it would be.
I think you should just scrap the All-Star game and just put the mid-season championship final in the All-Star weekend.
Oh, that would be. How would that affect the?
So they do it in Vegas.
No, I know, but I'm trying to think how that would affect. No, you're right. That'd actually be sick.
Just do it at the All-Star weekends. You have all the dunk competition. You have a really, really competitive game of basketball at the end of it. Should do it. Adam Silver, if you need me, I'm here.
I saw some hate for it, but I did like all of the court graphics and all the floor it was
really
amazing.
Cool,
I thought so.
Yeah. So and obviously the 3-point shootout I'm a big fan of. Dunk competition not so much this year.
Curry versus Sabrina as well.
That was great.
That was really, really good.
It was really good. So yeah, hopefully the British Basketball League All-Star game and All-Star activities is very similar. Oh well, not very similar, not to the All-Star game, but to hope it's competitive is what I'm trying to say. Yes, and if you want to get tickets for that, March 17th at the Copper Box. You can get tickets right now on the British Basketball League website. Right, a few more bits of news to get through. We've got a bit more. Going to go a bit longer this week, Sam, because why not?
Why not?
ENBL playoff dates have been confirmed. Our European playoff quarter-final dates against BC Cholet are now locked in. First leg takes place at the SGS College Arena Thursday, March 7th for a 7:30 p.m. tip-off. The second leg takes place at the Cholet Arena on Tuesday, March 19th. Now, that will be a 6 p.m. local tip-off time, which means 4 p.m. here in the UK.
Oh my goodness. Tuesday, 19th. Okay, good. That means I can get to basketball training afterwards.
There you go. Exactly. Which means our Flyers TV coverage will start at 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon.
Joe, you're meant to be working at that point, mate.
I know. What we're going to do. So, yeah, both games available to watch for free on Flyers TV. And tickets for the home leg, by the way, are selling fast. So don't miss out. Go get them. Tuesday, March 7th. It's going to sell out. So if you want to come watch Flyers in the European playoffs, go get your tickets right now over at bristolflyers.co.uk. Right, other news to get to, Sam. I don't know if you can smell that, but it smells like some British basketball beef.
It's time for British basketball beef.
Sponsored by Cow and Sow. Do you like that?
That's good.
So we've got more beef to get to, and that is because the British Basketball League has published the findings from the event that took place after the Manchester Giants versus Plymouth City Patriots game the other week.
It was like, I know we talked a bit about it on the podcast, but we were trying to be a bit chill. But it shouldn't happen, that sort of thing, should it?
Malice at Manchester.
Is that what they're calling it?
Well, that's
what you're calling it.
I heard it on the Jay and Drew podcast. I'm a big listener to Jay and Drew podcast. Give him a shout out.
No, I've attended it and actually been on it. Now I'm a big listener.
What do you think of did you watch the game? Did you watch the end of that game? Or have you seen
No, but I
videos
saw like a little clip of it.
Yeah.
All the pushing and shoving. I mean, who knows what went on.
Yeah. Well, there were a lot of handbags. The league has published the findings. They posted it on their website, which reads, following an incident after the final buzzer, an independent investigation took place. Clubs, players and coaches are all to abide by the FIBA Code of Conduct. Basically, if you don't apply to the FIBA Code of Conduct, you get penalty points. The league awards you with penalty points for certain things that you may have done from looking at the footage. The points are added up, and if you pass a certain number of points, you earn suspensions or fines, etc., going from there. So, following the findings of the disciplinary panel, the league can confirm the following penalties and actions were taken. Manchester Giants head coach Brian Simonian received 10 penalty points and will consequently serve a 1-game suspension. Giants player Austin Lawton received 20 penalty points. He will consequently receive a 2-game suspension and has been issued with an undisclosed fine. Plymouth City Patriots head coach Paul James received 5 penalty points. And then, although not even playing in the game, Giants player Jamel Anderson, because obviously he was in street clothes, wasn't he? He was on the bench in street clothes. He received 5 penalty points for his participation in the incident. So both teams have also been issued undisclosed fines, which will be donated to charitable causes supporting the basketball community.
That's nice.
The 2 spectators involved in the incident, because there were 2 fans involved as well, have one of them has received a lifetime ban, and the other one has received a 5-year ban, respectively, from all British Basketball League games.
That's great.
And then the league has sort of followed that up, saying the league, alongside its clubs and stakeholders, prides itself on providing a safe, family-friendly environment for all spectators to enjoy the sport, and operates a zero-tolerance policy towards any aggressive, threatening, or abusive behaviour at any of its events. Good to see that they published the results. Really, really good. And I think also having the new facility in Ealing helps these investigations take place, because they've got multiple angles. They can go back on all the footage, review everything from every angle.
Do those always record, but they just don't show
yeah,
it? Okay.
Yeah. So they can go back through the archive and they can see every single camera angle from that game, which is great. However, I would like, there's a bit more clarity on these sort of things, but hopefully, we will see less of these situations happen now that they've got the ability to watch this back. But Sam, I think the disciplinary panel will be busy again this week because there was another incident that took place last week. Did you see this one?
No.
Plymouth versus Leicester.
That's a great game, by the way.
Yeah, it was a great game. Plymouth came out on top in the end. Things got a bit tated down at the Pavilions. This resulted in an unsportsmanlike foul on Duke Shelton. Get it up on screen, Dan. We can see it here on the replay. There's Duke Shelton. And here's the replay. A little bit testy, then wham! Elbow to the face of Spencer Levi.
That is not okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay whatsoever.
It's not a basketball action. It's not a... Look at this. Elbow as well. He looks like he went arm and then head, so I'm not sure it would have hurt too much. Obviously, that's not the point, but it's not okay, is it, Joel?
Yeah, it's great that the replays can actually capture this kind of thing, because 5 years ago in the league, we would not be able to see this over and over again like we are now. So that was my British basketball beef. Sam, play the sound, please. Oh.
It's time for British Basketball Beef.
Sponsored by Cowan Sow. Sponsored by Cowan
Cameron Sow, you been there yet or not?
Yep.
Isn't it good?
Yeah, it was good. It's lovely.
Absolutely banging, isn't it? Shout out to them.
Tell you what, you've come into a program where Steve has done so well to get loads of good meal, what they called like partnerships as well. So you go for a meal nearly every week now, don't you?
Yeah, well, I've been to Cowan Sow and then Rax so far, and both was very good. So.
Two of the best places to go to.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I didn't have this anywhere I went, where the team would go out and have these nice lunches. It's great.
Coach takes you guys pretty much out every week at this rate.
Does you still do the half-court shot thing? Where if someone makes it, he goes Nando's, or do you not do that anymore?
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen that.
Maybe he's feathered it out.
Well, maybe because they go to so many meals, you don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, maybe. Right. This is the final bit of news I promised I've got to get through here, and this is for the Bristol Sport Foundation. This one is all about corporate basketball. Now, the Bristol Sport Foundation are inviting local businesses to go head-to-head by entering our annual corporate basketball tournament on Tuesday, April 16th at the SGS College Arena. So, if you work for a business and you've got a few ballers on your in your office and you want to go head-to-head with some other businesses around the city, you can do so at our corporate basketball tournament. Unique team building opportunities, you get food and drink, a bit of networking opportunities, and every team is coached by a Bristol Flyers first team player.
Nice.
It's great, isn't it? We do it every year.
It's one of the most favourite events for people. They have so much fun, don't they? And get well into it as well.
They do. It gets really competitive, but it's available for all abilities. So if you're a beginner, if you play basketball, it's open to anyone. The winning team of the tournament will receive complimentary courtside tickets to a Flyers game next season, plus there will be opportunities to win other prizes as well.
It gets so competitive that we've actually had to set up an IRS system just so.
That's it. The cost is £700 per team, which is a maximum of 10 players.
But just remember, Joel, that's tax deductible to these businesses as well, so think about that.
It includes a post-tournament drink, food, plus the chance to win the courtside tickets, as we spoke about there. Places fill up fast, and also don't forget your team is coached by a Flyers first team player. Places fill up fast. In the past, they've gone like hotcakes. I don't know if I told you that before, Sam, in previous episodes of the podcast.
You've not said hotcakes in a long little while. Danny, when was the last time? Do you remember?
It's been a while. You love a hot cake.
I do love a hotcake. So yeah, they go like hotcakes. So if you work for a company, you've got some secret ballers in the office, you put a Bristol Sport team together, Sam, what do you reckon?
What, us?
Bristol Sport.
Oh, we'll have a team, yeah, for
team,
sure.
Team Bristol Sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to dunk it on someone.
Yeah. Maybe we take the podcast down there. What do you reckon?
Nah.
Okay.
I want to play.
Yeah, we'll do both while we're playing on the mic.
Get like a Britney mic.
Exactly. So if you want to get involved, go to the Bristol Sport Foundation website for all the details. Whew, and breathe. That's my news section, Sam.
You're listening to the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
That was a long news section,
It
wasn't
was
it?
a bit too long, but really interesting. A lot of informative, and I guess that means we're on to the mailbag, does it, Jolly?
Yeah, we'll do a couple of questions in the mailbag because I know we're going over on the podcast this week. But Max, we asked fans to send in some questions to you via the mailbag, and this is the part of the show where we put them to you as our studio guests. So the first one is from Corey Samuels. He's been in touch with the podcast, and he's actually left an audio message because he was in the office yesterday, wasn't he, Sam?
He certainly was.
So have a listen to this, Max.
So what's up, Max Cooper? It's Corey Samuels here. I got a little question for you. I want to know, what was your first impressions of Bristol Flyers, just the organization and the team itself? And then how does that kind of measure up to what you think of things now and your current experience on the team?
That's a great question, Corey.
I thought it was going to be. It was a very serious question. I thought he was going to be joking around.
It was quite serious, wasn't it?
To answer this question, I mean, from what I saw when I first got in to now, it's only like I've made new relationships with the guys on the team. I've got to see how things work and experience the style of life that the players live, and it's been great.
Yeah.
Bristol's awesome. Bristol Flyers organisation is awesome.
Yeah. Amazing. I love to hear that.
Apart from the social media team, they're terrible, aren't they?
No, you guys are great.
Yeah, they're the worst. I got a question. This one, we spoke about wrestling earlier. What would your wrestling name be if you were a WWE wrestler, and why?
I think I'd go with something. My full name's Maximilian, so I've add like an Italian Roman, tag to that. I don't know what.
Maximilian, the pooper Cooper.
That's been thrown around a few times.
I mean, you've got Max $1 Million Dream.
He's
Come on.
sharp. He's sharp.
Or Mad Max.
Yeah, that'd probably be the
That's
one.
the basic one.
Max Power.
Yeah. That one's already taken. What is it?
It's true.
Oh. I pressed the wrong button. Yellow. Right. I got a question from Snackman Matt.
You'll meet him in a second, actually.
Long story short, but you'll meet Snackman Matt. He's based in the Bristol Sport office. He wants to know, what's your favourite post-workout snack?
Doesn't have to be healthy, no.
No.
Absolutely not. If you listen to Snackman Matt, no, he doesn't have to be healthy.
I've been getting these, in America we call them lava cakes from Aldi.
Oh!
The chocolate puddings that just melt. Oh, they're delicious.
30 seconds in the microwave,
Yeah.
max, isn't it?
Yeah, oh my
Not
god.
max, like maximum.
I know, right now that's a go. That and some Tang Fastics are a go-to.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Fantastic. They're very good.
These guys have loads of sweets as well, don't
Yeah,
they?
they had
In
the
a
big
little
bucket. If you
bucket
see
of
the big
sweets.
bucket of sweets.
I just tried. Well, Corey's been telling me about, because Corey loves the sweets. He's been telling me, are they pinballs?
Yeah, oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I've
they're
never
the
had
best.
one until I had one during the game. They're delicious.
They are so
They
good.
are amazing. Have you ever been on a team where they've had a big tub of sweets at the end of the bench like that?
When I was in England at my younger age, we'd always have some jelly babies, which wasn't as good as the selection that we have here.
We do have a good, it's basically a communal pick and mix for the squad.
The thing is, all those sweaty big hands going in there back and forth. I can't imagine it's that nice in there anymore.
I sometimes pop over and pop a pinball in.
Pop a pinball.
For them pre-game, do some pre-game Instagram bits. I'll just pop over, have a little quick pinball, and then on my way.
Got to get your energy up for those Instagram bits, haven't you, Joe?
Absolutely, mate. It's very, very important. Producer Dan, have you got a question for Max?
I sure do. Max, we talked about some of the Bristol attractions. That big boat. What's
Yeah.
it called? Thekla. There are many more in this city. We've got that brilliant bridge. What's it called? Plimsoll Swing Bridge. And our shopping centre as well, King's Chase in Kingswood. So I just wanted to know, where else in Bristol are you looking forward to seeing? What haven't you seen yet, and what do you want to see?
I actually want to go on the bridge. I drive
Yeah.
under it. I want to go on the bridge.
I tell you what, Plimsoll Swing Bridge is brilliant. If that's the one you mean. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
These are great because he's ripping into Joel here, but the suspension bridge you should go on, mate. It's absolutely lovely up there. You've just been done there, Joel. Dan, that's very good, mate. You can stay.
Thanks.
Great stuff. Right, that's probably a good place for us to wrap up the show. Do you reckon, Sam?
I think so.
Oh, God. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Bristol Flyers podcast. Max, thank you for joining us.
Thank you again
as
for
our
having me. That was a lot of
studio
fun.
guest.
And thanks, as always, to WebGains for sponsoring the show. We couldn't do what we do without you.
Yeah, shout out to WebGains and Rob, who you would have heard in the WebGains ad earlier in the episode. Sam, do we want to talk about what's happening next week's episode?
No, I reckon we just save it because it's gone on a long time now. So they'll just wait for it. It'll be cool.
It's very exciting.
It's going to be cool, whatever it is, okay?
Don't miss next week's episode because it's going to be a good one and it's something a little bit different than what we've normally done, but it involves coffee.
And we're recording the bulk of it on the Tuesday, so you watch out for the social before then. Is that right, Joel?
Yeah, I'll put something out on social about it on Monday, I reckon. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Bristol Flyers podcast from Joel, Sam, and producer Dan. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.